Boobies.
That's the way to start off the stream.
I don't even know if it's up yet. Is it up yet? Nothing's coming through yet
The
for me.
audio cut like right after. Yeah.
Hi, welcome
Hi.
to Words Have Power. How you doing? What's up? Hopefully the sound is good.
Yes, the sound is good.
Okay, good. Okay, good. It's a thing, like I'm starting to panic at the start of every live stream now. Like, is the sound okay?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? What's happening with it? Oh boy, it's been a day already. All right, straight off the bat, up front, like to start. Oh, right on, right on. It's good to see you, Ryzen. Phoenix, how you doing? Hey, Theater of a Vamp. Did you call
What's up?
or something at some point? I think I was not awake when you called. I was like, what?
What is awake? I just want to do.
It's all in theory. Okay, it's all relative. Okay. So straight off the bat, if you're in a red state, or even if you're not in a red state, please reach out to DV centers or shelters in red states and see if they need help, because they probably do.
Yep.
From what I'm being told, many of them have Amazon wish lists, and the help is really needed, like for reals. So, see if they have an Amazon wish list. And if they do, grab that link and disseminate it to everyone, everywhere. DV shelters all over the country are having a really hard time, but especially in red states. It's getting bad. So let's see if we can, just, post it on all of your apps, social media, wherever, and to all your friends and family. Hey, you can make it a Valentine's Day thing, huh? What? Yes.
Sorry, I'm just looking at Theater of Vamp's profile picture, and it's like, is that Vladimir Todd Teenage Bites?
Oh, I hear Idun yelling because she can't lay on me. Yeah, she's mad right now. Yep. So I changed out the blanket because we have a subscriber who likes the royal colors. So we have the royal blue.
That's the big blanket that you made for me.
This thing is gigantic. It's folded in half right now, and it's still, it's still almost too much for this chair.
It's just big enough for me.
Well, I was hoping it would be more than just big enough for you.
No,
but it needs to
be... made a blanket for somebody who's 6'2" and like has broad shoulders. No.
But the behemoth I made, that would probably be big enough for you. That'd be big enough for a full, like, 6-member family. Okay.
Right. By your standards. If all family members were as tiny as you, yes.
This thing, I had to have Maki help me turn this one and Behemoth, both, because it was so big. I working on it in a square, I couldn't turn it. I was like, I need help. Thing is huge. This one's for you.
Thanks. Yeah. Funny years ago. Yeah, it's so the thing is, like, I see it and I'm immediately brought back to the series that I mentioned was like a book series I read in like middle school about a teenage half vampire or vampire, one of the two.
It's not me though. It's not me. I literally had to put makeup on so I wouldn't blind y'all. It's the only reason I put makeup on. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I pulled it out because apparently cleavage is evil. So we being evil up in here, okay?
Yeah. Mississippians suffer.
Oh God. Just wait. It's gonna be so
we'll
good.
Get there. We'll get
Well,
there.
and the laughter will ensue because why not?
I'm gonna get a kick out of it. I'm gonna make sure I have this actually up so I can share it when the need arises.
Vamp, how do you think I feel? I'm 51 years old now.
You're 27.
I turned 51. This one
You're
over here
27.
keeps 27. There are things I would do over again.
Me?
Several. Well, I have a list. So let's just say things would be different. Cirque
Joke
du
goes
Freak.
completely over her head. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Cirque du Freak. That sounds like fun. I don't know. Wait, that's right. You're a little bit younger than me. Younger than me and taller than me. I mean, it's not fair.
I have it pulled up.
You have what pulled up?
The thing.
Oh, okay. You want to show it? I have it here too, so that's fine.
Whoever you want to show it.
You might
We
have to
can
read
discuss it
for
now
us.
or later, whenever you want.
You might have to read it for us though, but
Okay.
you listen.
Stop taking my line.
Do you all have any idea how long he and I talked about like power imbalances and how like destructive they can be, and like because I'm older than Maki, and I was like, listen, I'm gonna educate you about power imbalances, all that stuff before, because you need to have like informed consent. It's really important, right?
Yeah. And somebody
'Cause
else tried to have a similar conversation with me. He's like, you know how old she is, right? And I'm just like, why the fuck does that matter?
we already covered that, like I think in the first week that we were seeing each other. I was like, wait a minute, hold up. We need to talk.
Yeah.
This has to be a conversation. All
Hey,
right,
you want to
so
watch a movie? Goes over, watches movie.
wait, what?
Talking about, like the first time we met, or the first time I went over to your place.
Yeah. Yeah, we hadn't even started dating, and I was like, listen, this makes me nervous. Like, we have to talk about this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to grab another soda in a second.
Good thing I just bought a bunch.
Okay, you're not allowed to make me laugh when I'm swallowing soda.
I didn't even think I said anything funny, but okay.
Everything's funny to me today after seeing that. God. Just wait until listen. We're letting y'all like hop in before we get started because this shit.
It's good.
Oh, it's so good. It is
It's so
so
good.
good. I evil laughed. I cackled. Okay.
I
Like
started making jokes. I made all the jokes.
I should have like a little cottage somewhere in the middle of a swamp or something. I'm
still here, by the way.
I just sing to girls and either they dig it or run. Laughing when swallowing is
fair.
dangerous. No. You think?
Ask the military, doing anything while walking is dangerous.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
You can't even talk on the cell phone while you're walking. Or at least in uniform. In uniform.
Okay. Laughing while smiling can lead to spitting. It's better than snorting coffee out of your nose because, you know.
Oh, hang on. Here's my question. How do people laugh without smiling?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Swamp Witch. Yes, thank you. I have a hat. I can't put it on right now because, you know, headphones, but
no, you said something before we started the stream that I found really entertaining. It said your bell. I'm like, what do you mean?
I love books.
Uh-huh.
We has books.
He has the books.
And you're furry.
And I'm that just makes me the beast.
And then you said what?
This is true. I am big and furry.
And you kind of cower when I scold you.
Oh yeah, I do cower when you scold me.
Never run with scissors.
Never scissors with runs. That's a whole different application.
Oh God, through their nose, but you might blow your A. Ew. And the laughter ensues. Man, I had someone over on the other app get mad at me because of my waist. Because I did a video where I was just bopping around to a song to someone else's thing.
Mhm.
And I'm like, it's chronic illness. Don't be jealous. Don't be angry. It's chronic illness is what it is.
I mean, your waist is divine.
You have the chuckles all day. Okay. You want to show the thing? Let's do the thing with the thing
Sure.
now.
Let me bring it over.
We're gonna do the thing with the thing.
Okay. Presenting for your viewing pleasure. Select a tab. That tab. Mississippi Senate Bill 2319.
Can you pull it up on the thing? Yeah, you can.
Okay. You have to. There you go.
All right.
All right.
Can y'all hold on? Can y'all see this?
You might have to go big screen. I'll read it out for you, regardless. Mississippi Legislature 2025 regular session, to Judiciary Division B by Senator Blackman. Senate Bill 2319, enact the Contraception Begins at Erection Act to define terms, to provide that it shall be unlawful for a person to discharge genetic material without the intent to fertilize an embryo, to provide for criminal penalties, to provide certain exemptions, and for related purposes. To be enacted by the legislature of the state of Mississippi. Section 1. 1. This section shall be known and may be cited as the Contraception Begins at Erection Act. 2. It shall be unlawful for a person to discharge genetic material without the intent to fertilize an embryo. Part 3. Upon conviction of a violation of this section, a person shall be fined A. $1,000 for first offense, B. $5,000 for a second offense, and C. $10,000 for a third or subsequent offense. 4. This section shall not apply to the discharge of genetic material if A. Donated or sold to a facility for the purpose of future procedures to fertilize an embryo, and B. Discharged with the use of a contraceptive or contraceptive method intended to prevent fertilization of an embryo. Section 2. This act shall take effect and be in force from and after July 1st, 2025. And this is only for Mississippi. And this, I'm not sure, like the URL is here. I'll post it in both chats. So if you want to go and look at the URL, you will have it.
Okay, so this was
isn't just a this isn't like a doctored thing that somebody just came up with. This is like a legitimate thing in the Mississippi legislature right now.
Right, but this was put in by a Democrat. I did not even have a chance to
Blackman.
look it up yet. Hold on one second. Sponsored by Senator Bradford Blackman.
Yep.
Democrat, hopes to make a point. I'm trying so hard not to laugh right now. I'm having a hard time, y'all.
Yeah. He's also a lawyer, by the way.
Yeah, well.
Senator Bradford Jerome Blackman. Yep.
Now, there are several videos that I really, really want to watch, but he's pointing out the contraceptive double standards involved in legislating rights away from women while at the same time just giving men free rein to do whatever, right? And all of the problems that are going to come up from legislating away women's reproductive health care. Um, I mean,
I don't know. I lived so close to Mississippi growing up that we were like taught how to spell it like in elementary school.
we were too, but it was like a song thing. They had a different song for each state.
M-I-S-S-I-P-P-I. Yep.
Yeah, they had a different song for each state. And yeah, so I think this is fair, though. It's fair. It's fair. If they're
Mhm.
going to legislate away the rights of women, teenage girls, and little girls, okay, then it just makes sense that we would do the same thing for men. We can't
Yeah.
leave men out.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. I completely forgot. I'm sorry. There are no men. I'm so sorry.
Right. Because our gender is defined by our reproductive organs at the time of conception. Not
So there
birth
are.
anymore. Conception. You know, the point where the spermatozoa and the egg get done intermingling and become the first cell before division even begins, and you start the process of creating an embryo. That first cell that comes from that is conception.
Wait, hold on. Even before implantation.
Mm-hmm.
So there might not even be implantation. You're female already. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys.
Can a single cell organism be male or female though?
These are not deep thinkers. These are not deep thinkers. These are not people who are like, oh, let me think about this for a second. Let me go read a biology textbook or anything. Like, it's just.
Clearly failed middle school biology, because this is stuff we learned in middle school, folks.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Failed? No, they were homeschooled and they were not even taught that. Okay, it never even entered into the equation.
That's fair.
But I will say this, the Y chromosome apparently is like going extinct. So maybe that explains everything. No offense to any men out there.
None taken.
I'm just saying this is what science is saying. So maybe that explains all of the things that are happening now. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
Yep. It's 2025, y'all. It is 2025.
Yeah, but they're acting like it's 2025 BCE.
Right. Right. That's where they're trying to take us back to.
Apparently.
Equal protection under the law. 14th Amendment is supposed to be just that, as well as when laws are passed against people. No law should be passed that infringes on one person's.
I feel like there's supposed to be more there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think we hit the text limit. We'll have to wait for the next one.
Yep. Yeah. In where did that happen?
I'm a man, I'm sure, but makeup regardless.
Exactly. Yeah, but until fairly recently, men wore makeup all the time. So I see nothing wrong whatsoever with a man wearing makeup at all. In fact, all of your action heroes and movies and all of the rock stars you like, they wear makeup all the time. I'm going to keep on saying that because it's true.
Every man you idealize that has ever appeared like on a big screen at any point, or even just your screen at home, they have makeup on.
Bond, James Bond, makeup. Jason Statham.
Chicken, not stud.
Jason Statham, makeup.
He's short.
Oh, I know, because I went the F off on that dude. So hard. I did not get. Listen, I was hungry. Okay, he was standing between me and a restaurant. Not a good place to be. In was it New Jersey or Newark? They started arresting a bunch of people, thinking that they were all undocumented immigrants, but some of them were citizens of this country, and one of them was a military veteran.
I'm not surprised. They
arresting them
deported.
without a warrant.
Yeah. No, they arrested and deported a naturalized U.S. veteran from, I want to say Mexico, but it's probably wrong.
Mm.
Colombia, maybe? Like a
Hey,
couple years
Mandy.
back. And he, like, has been fighting for, like, a while to get back into the country because he served in the U.S. military, did his time, is a naturalized citizen through service, and they still just fucking deported. And I'm like, what the fuck?
That makes no sense,
Yeah.
especially a veteran.
Yeah.
Shouldn't the GOP be all up in arms over that? Oh, wait, he's brown skinned. Prime example of racism.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, right? They're all, listen, eyeliner, mascara, the whole shebang. I know
Blush.
that because I worked private security. I've seen them. Like, I've seen Tom Cruise without a camera involved. That dude's short, man.
You've seen what's his name from Ghost Rider?
Shh. This is not real. This is not real. You're not real. Oh, God. Nothing I ever wanted to see
Yeah,
before
Nick
in my
Cage.
life.
Nick Cage, yeah.
Oh, man. I can't tell you all about that. To this day, I'm afraid I'll get in trouble over that. It's not my fault. I did nothing wrong.
It was the
I was,
weather. The
I
weather
was,
did it.
listen, I was just there. Okay.
Just saw it happen.
Never stand between a Nolan's woman and her food. Well, I mean, I lived there for a very long time, but I'm from Flint, Michigan. So I don't know. That'd be up to the
It can
people
be
of New
both.
Orleans.
It's fine. As a
Yeah.
native New Orleanian, I say it's fine.
You could lose more than your dignity. He did, because I went off and there were people watching and I was just like, get the fuck out of my way. I don't care about your movie. I'm going
I
to
am
hurt
hungry.
someone. Like
I am hungry.
when I'm hungry, there ain't no hangry involved. There's war. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the plot of Born in East LA? I don't remember that movie. That is true, but also the ancient Egyptian, like all the warriors and all that. Are you kidding? Baby, please. The first, like I said yesterday, the first recorded documented strike, workers' strike, labor strike, was Egyptian people, mostly men, striking because they were not paid their normal pay for work on, I think it
One
was
of the pyramids.
was it a pyramid? It was something. And they were not paid. One of the things was their coal eyeliner, because that was considered a medicine to keep your eyes from getting eye infections, which was a really big thing back then. But it also would help cut down on the glare from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So when all these dudes and all these people are like, men should be wearing makeup. Are you kidding me? Men wore makeup for a majority of human history. You just haven't been taught that, but it's actual fact.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, but K-pop boys. Oh my, listen, what?
Listen, Felix, aside from looks, just has a fucking voice.
True, but damn, they take
You know
makeup
who
to.
Felix is?
I'm not as knowledgeable about K-pop, but I do know that they take makeup to an art form. It's like a science or something.
Mandy knows who Felix is.
The first sunglasses attempt, I think, was the Inuit up in,
Alaska?
if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure. And not enough beer. Yep. It was coal and beer. Yep. And dresses. True. You love Stray Kids, right? K-pop people are a different human, a new DNA strand. I'm just saying. Damn. Wow. Listen. If I'm not
You have my
mistaken,
attention.
this is a K Beauty brand, Fui. I love this stuff. I use it almost every day. I'm not using it today, and I feel lost. Like this stuff, the little pudding pots, lips, cheeks, eyes. Boom. Damn. Done. What? Awesome sauce. Love that for me. And then these are addictive. These and the Fui, I warning, they're addictive. This is, what is this? Hold on. I need my glasses to be able to see. What is this? Rom and, yeah. I love this stuff, and I'm out. But I will use this until like I'm down in the thing down here, like digging it out. No joke. Love this stuff. In the winter, if you're in the north, that stuff is amazing for your lips. Psy kind of came and went. Anime characters brought to life by the Matrix. I'm just saying, it kind of seems like it, doesn't it? Or like, why am I forgetting the name of it? The video game with Keanu Reeves. The video game with Keanu Reeves in it.
I'm thinking and I'm drawing a blank.
I cannot remember.
Oh, Cyberpunk 2077?
Yes, that
Okay.
one. Actually, I want to play that again.
It's a fun game.
Yeah. That's a good game.
That actually might be our future. We'll see how this run of the government goes.
I don't know, man. It's like they want to take us back to the Stone Ages. So, with their smart cities. Okay, so a friend of mine was doing research on the Heritage Foundation and noticed that some of the information out there about the Heritage Foundation looks like it might be being like wiped. The ties that are, like everyone knows, Scientology donated to the Heritage Foundation, right? Along with some other groups. But it looks like they're trying to erase that information, which does not bode well for Scientology.
Right, the past 15 seconds, I forgot what the Heritage Foundation was, and I just remembered.
Yeah. So, Idun, I'm in here, silly. Idun, come here. So it's looking like Scientology might be in trouble, and I love that for them. Here's hoping. Can we have a more solar punk style future? I wish.
But look at what solar punk actually is, because that sounds interesting.
Is that like a genre of cyberpunk? I don't know.
Future people have in harmony. Oh, it's like a live in nature with harmony type deal.
Oh, really?
Like,
I like that.
Like vines growing on top of houses and whatnot, ecological friendly, giant wind turbines floating in the air connected by cables. Yeah, very eco-friendly. Yeah, lush green communities, rooftop gardens, floating villages, clean energy transportation, sustained glass solar panels, plant life, Art Nouveau.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, Vamp, is that a cat on a heating pad? Because it's black on black, so I can't tell.
That's
I think it's a kitty. Yeah, that's a kitty. Oh, that's a cute
no
kitty.
false.
That's a cute kitty.
Yeah, it is. Okay. I can't see. I'll see it after the stream.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Yeah.
But it's, you know how Bast will lay on like something black, and then I walk.
Yeah. Like she'll lay on the treadmill and then just disappear.
Yeah. Yep. So then when I walk by, like if there's a black shirt on the floor, I walk, to grab the black shirt, and there's a cat there, and then she gets mad at me. No fossil foods. That sounds like a plan, man.
Right.
That right there is, I mean, but now we have Humpty Dumpty. We could have had her. Eh. Oh my God. All right. So, I just want to give y'all just a little bit of joy, just a little
Joy.
bit. So I was on a live stream the other day with a friend of mine, and she had some of her, friends up, and we're just talking, and we're talking about music that helps you get through, trying times, right? And I brought up Heilung. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Heilung? It's one of my favorite bands. And I was like, yeah, one of the photos that they have is one of my meditation photos. This photo right here. My friend's friend was a photographer who took this photo. And I was
Nice.
like, I was like, wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? That was a really cool conversation. And at some point, I want to see them in concert. So I thought I'd share that. Just, good music that is wonderful. Healing is the whole point. If you ever get a chance to see them in concert, please do. I don't know that I will, so please do for me. Nupty Dumpty and Adolf Musk. Yeah, but okay, so now we get into the talking about abuse tactics, which is the title of this live stream. So I've been watching mainstream legacy media talking about what Musk did at the inauguration, right? Not once, but twice, he did what they're now trying to call the Roman salute, which is not a thing. That was not a thing back in Roman times. What date was that painting done?
It's done in the 1700s, but it's based off of one person or one figure and in a Roman cartouche amongst a crowd who has his arm out like that. Everybody else is doing completely different things, but the artist picked that one person to kind of create the original homage and continued to use it in their paintings up until the point that they died. And yeah,
But that was
actually,
not like
no.
this big huge thing in Rome.
Right, Romans didn't. So they stood at attention and they grabbed each other by the forearms and they were shaking hands. That's what they did.
Right. So now that's a more modern, recent invention.
Right.
It's not, and it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just is what it is. And they're making all kinds of excuses for him. Well, he's on the spectrum. Well, they use the A word, which we don't use anymore.
Yeah, that was named after the Austrian doctor.
Right. The scumbag piece of
Yeah.
trash doctor.
Yeah.
And they're trying to give him every possible excuse. What are they doing? They're being fleas and flying monkeys for a Nazi.
Yeah.
Is what they're doing. They're trying to ignore the fact that his mother and his mother's parents were Nazis.
Yeah.
They just were.
Yeah.
And they're trying to act like, well, that's not, not a thing. Well, it is.
Yeah. Quote his
Um,
dad on saying that his maternal grandparents were Nazis.
I mean,
His
they
dad admitted
moved.
that.
They moved to apartheid Africa because they agreed with apartheid Africa.
Yep.
So it's. Hold on, y'all. You know what? I forgot to send someone a link for this live stream. So you're seeing all kinds of Darvo, just straight up Darvo, rug sweeping, out the hoo-ha, every possible justification and disregard of people's concerns over what Elon Musk chose to do. And then people are like, well, he's a genius. He would never do that. He would never do it. He's a genius. He would never do that. He would never do that. Where is he a genius? I need proof. I need somebody to prove to me that he's actually a fucking genius. Because having money that you got from emeralds, from your daddy's emerald mine, taking those emeralds, selling them, producing all kinds of money, and then buying companies and smacking your name on all the inventions of other people does not make you a genius at all.
So this is the plate. Trojans call them plate. I forgot what Roman numeral L stands for. I think it might be 50. 50 plus 1 is 60, 62. Onlookers raise their arms to acclaim the emperor. Notice there's only one person in the center of that image who has his hand outreached in a fashion similar to a Nazi salute, but his hand is like this way, open to the side, not flat out, palm down. But this was the inspiration that led to this photo, the oath, or this picture, sorry, this painting, the Oath of Horatii in 1784 by Jacques Louis David. And
right, but if you look at the way they're standing, like that whole thing, so the Romans had different gestures that they would use when they were orating to emphasize what they were saying. This is made up. This is more recent made up idealization of Roman times.
Right. This is, again, 18th century is done in 1784. This is like a modern-ish interpretation of this one person here who has his hand flat to the side. Nobody else, if you look at this entire photo, has their hand out to the side. Some of them are bent back at an angle as if they're waving, but no. And then this image kind of led into like all of his other work. I'm gonna drop that because that's the end of that screen share there. But the it's kind of interesting how we got there, because I forgot at one point in time, but I think it was like during the 1800s, early 1800s, whenever we started like doing like a mass printing of flags and whatnot, we would have, school children hold a flag in their hand, like a small flag in their hand, and reach their arm out as if they were holding the flag aloft. And eventually it became that, well, instead of having every child carry around a flag or having a single flag on every desk, just put the flag in the classroom. So they would still hold their hand out. Some of them would like act like they're holding a flag. Other ones would be flat hand, palm down. And that was up until 1942, because in the 1920s, Mussolini actually started using that. They knew that was an American tradition. They also saw the picture from the artist David, however you want to pronounce it, and they started doing that in a mockery of America almost, but also to show like their devout nationalism to how Mussolini was running their country. It's a fascist state at the time. And then Germany at the time, under Nazi regime of Hitler, decided, I like that. That's powerful. Let's add another step. Put your hand to your chest above your heart first, and then throw your arm out. And that's how we get the Nazi salute. And that hand to chest, then arm out, is what Musk did on stage twice, intentionally.
Oh, oh shit.
What?
Robin.
I
Okay,
missed something.
so Robin just sent me something in Discord.
Oh, okay.
Robin, send it in the Words Have Power Discord, if you don't mind. So leakers declare war on Trump. Trump's attack on DEI triggers resistance, including against Elon Musk. Hey, Musky boy, how you like that? This is going to be an interesting couple of years.
I'd say the most interesting and perplexing thing from like as a person of mixed heritage who has like indigenous and South American indigenous ancestry is like seeing people of color defend that shit and try to like wipe it away and like all that crap. And then they'll play the video of Musk doing the thing and say blah 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 blah. They'll use the like Roman salute. He has the A syndrome, which we're not actually going to say because it's derogatory and no longer what we call it.
We don't even use that term anymore.
Right, nobody does, and it's not even an official diagnosis anymore. And everything else, and I'm just like, bro, how are you, a person of color, somebody that they would have put in a camp had you been alive 80 years ago and lived in Germany? You would have been put in a camp. How are you going to defend that? How?
Well, cult think is never logical think. And that's pretty much what we have going on here on an epic, to an epic degree. Like, apparently Trump wants to take away birthright citizenship of indigenous people.
What the fuck?
In North America. Just, y'all, let that sink in for a second. Indigenous people indigenous. Why? Because he's butthurt. Because he's a raving lunatic. That's why, in my opinion. And then Elon Musk and X's role in 2024 election interference. Ooh.
Oh yeah, and they completely glazed over the fact where Trump admitted that Trump rigged the election in Pennsylvania for him.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, I have questions. Is there anything in place if during a presidential election there's election fraud? If they do an investigation and find out that, yes, there was actual fraud for real, like, I have questions about Starlink and Musk buying votes in swing states and certain other things, right?
Declaring Trump the winner before the election results are even like announced.
Exactly. Like, if there is election fraud that does happen for real, none of this projection stuff, but actual for real, right? Can they then take that president and vice president out of office?
No, we don't really have a precedent for it as of yet, but now would be a great time to find and set that precedent.
It would be, because what he's doing right now is if you're already having problems getting people to enlist and volunteer to enlist in the military, and then you're going to try to get rid of such a large portion of the military, there's no logical thought going on here. It's just, oh, I don't like these kinds of people, so they got to go.
You know what that's called? Bigotry.
Yes, but beyond that, it's also making the entire country vulnerable.
Yeah.
So, not just bigotry, but also danger in so many different ways.
Danger will rudder.
Also, with the government, I mean, everybody do your taxes soon because it may be a while before you get a tax return, if you get a tax return.
Uh-huh. Shit, if you're a veteran, make sure. Let's hope that our VA benefits don't get fucking cut or withheld from us. That's going to screw over a lot of people if that's the case.
If he does
Because they want to
that,
cut down on government spending.
they'll probably lose their entire base. Or a
Well, you never
majority
know.
of it.
Well, Doge is operating on a whole new precedent of trying to cut back costs. So we'll see how that goes.
How is that even? I don't even. It doesn't. None of this makes sense to me.
Mm-mm.
So, part of the reason I brought Scientology up earlier is because many of the groups that Humpty Dumpty is working with right now, they're all tied to dominionism, which is an extremist form of Christianity. They're very, very extreme. All right. Think the Taliban, just Christian. That's how they are. There are several people who were in the dominionist communities who are now coming out and speaking about what it's like being in those communities, and it's pretty horrible. Those dominionist communities are not going to abide by Scientology being around. They're just not. So if they're wiping any ties that they may have had to Scientology from the internet, I want to see this. I want to see Scientology get its whole face eaten. I want the lepers to come out and eat that face. I'm looking forward to this. Just this one thing. Is this really happening?
You mean everything that's been going on the last week?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's happening. I'm not happy about it.
It's kind of stunning to me.
Yeah. The fact that, like, here's what gets me that I found out last week, right? So we all know, like, China puts out propaganda about how bad things are in the US to their citizenry, right?
Right.
Imagine the shock on the Chinese citizenry's face whenever TikTokers, once the app was starting to be taken down, hopped over to Red Note, learned Mandarin to effectively communicate with Chinese citizenry, and then relate to them the information that actually everything that you're telling me that the Chinese government has said about how things are in America is true. So there is no propaganda. It's just the fucking truth. But it's so unbelievable that it's perceived as propaganda.
Right. But I mean, China's not. There are some serious, significant problems with China too. It's every government.
I mean, don't get me wrong. China has its own issues, but they haven't told a single lie about like how the U.S. operates
They don't
to
have
their
to.
citizenry. Yeah, they don't have
Right.
to.
They don't have to. That's how bad it is here.
Yeah.
Land of the free, home of the brave, dude.
Land of the indoctrinated, home of the imprisoned.
Yeah.
Because we can't leave. Trump said, like, before his inauguration speech, if you don't like it and all you're gonna do is complain, you can leave. How? Y'all don't fucking pay us enough to leave.
He doesn't care.
And then on top of that, here's the kicker that has pissed me off since I found out about it. You have to pay the government to renounce your citizenship. to renounce it.
Yep.
You have to pay the government for losing a what was the wording? A productive member of society.
It's
You
hard to
are a
be.
commodity to these people.
How much of the population is either imprisoned or unhoused or working unhoused, like living in their vehicles, but they can't afford to buy a place or rent a place?
Right.
Like,
I'd say collectively, if we're looking at all those, probably about 20% of the population.
and it's just going to get worse with all of these policies that Trump's going to put into place. It's only going to get worse. That's why I'm saying, if you can, even if you can't afford to help DV shelters out there, it's fine. Just take a link to like an Amazon wish list for a DV shelter and
Post it. Share it.
yeah.
Put it out there.
Or if you have things that, like, say, you have stuff your children have grown out of, instead of taking that to Goodwill,
Ugh.
take it to your nearest DV shelter because they need all kinds of help. And clothing and shoes for kiddos will go a long way. You know, so yeah, I don't know, man. This is some bullshit. That's what I know.
Bombastic side eye.
Oh my God. So yeah, so there's so much happening that I feel overwhelmed sometimes, and some of y'all might feel that way too. It's okay.
Yeah.
They're doing it this way on purpose so that it's hard for you to keep up with everything that's happening. This too shall pass.
Yeah. Oh, it's really interesting. Like, something else that's been happening, like, around the time of the inauguration, is that Israel and Palestine came to a ceasefire, or are in the process of signing a ceasefire agreement. Israel's still killing civilians. They're still bombing Palestine and Gaza. In the middle of ceasefire agreements, because there's still, to quote Israeli governmental personnel, active engagements and problems that they're solving before the ceasefire goes through. But civilians are dying. Children.
Yeah, if I say what I'm thinking, there's just so much going on in the world right now. At least this time, with all of this mess going on, because it has happened in the past. At least this time, we can communicate with each other.
Yeah. We have the
You know what I
World
mean?
Wide Web, baby.
Exactly. So if you're into drama or any of that, like drama talk and all of that mess, here's a mountain of drama for you.
Yeah.
And you can be informed with what's going on in your world. Like,
excuse me.
it's part of the reason I got so frustrated with debate talk was like, y'all are sitting here eyeball deep in this BS. Meanwhile, we're going to lose all our rights. Like, and people are like, no, we're not. Here we are. Here we are.
Just remind you, there's a literal Nazi as head of a regulatory body inside of the federal government that's going to define the efficiency at which the government spends its money and uses its personnel. There's a Nazi in charge of that.
J.D. Vance is right up behind him. He helped write and put together Project 2025. He's the vice president. You cannot tell me that they're not hoping that Humpty Dumpty is deemed unable to continue being president or has some major health problem and passes away. And then J.D. Vance becomes president.
Yep. How you doing?
Because evangelicals, dominionists want Project 2025 They don't want the Constitution. They don't like the Constitution. And if you don't believe me, you can read Project 2025 for yourself.
To be fair, it is a long read.
It's worth knowing your enemy.
No, that's true.
And they are the enemy of everyone who is not exactly like them. And they don't care if you're like anti this or that or whatever. They don't care. They are psychotic. They consider Trump's presidency right now as the next crusade for God. I'm quoting them.
I don't like that at all. That's disgusting.
Yeah. They are. They are disgusting. So,
Hang on. Speaking of crusades, right?
mhm.
Okay, because this is supposed to be the next crusade. What was the purpose of the original crusades?
They were killing, well, originally,
The original crusades, like the crusaders from Europe going into Palestine, Jerusalem, and all that.
the first crusades were it was Catholicism going after other Christian groups,
Mm-hmm.
the Gnostics, who were
Mhm.
Christians.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the term "kill them all, God will sort his own" comes from.
Yep.
Was from that, from Christians killing Christians.
Right.
And then they switched gears once they felt like they had all of Christianity under one umbrella, or ish, because there were other branches of Christianity even at that time.
Yep.
Then they switched over to taking back Jerusalem and the Levant. And
Right. But while the knights and squires and everybody else was fighting out in the Middle East, what was happening back in Europe?
I
The
mean,
church was consolidating power,
right.
oppressing the citizenry, the serfs,
Well, that was the church and
and the royalty.
royalty. Yeah. So it was,
You see how religion and governmental powers, whenever they get together, fuck up everything for everybody else? For the
yeah,
common person.
maybe that's why we should have a separation of church and state.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it just seems like a good idea, because what if this is hypothetical, it's just like a thought exercise. What if JD Vance is secretly, without anyone's knowledge, actually Muslim and part of the Taliban? Would that be okay?
Here's
No.
my brain is doing the thing. So, like, do you remember, or did you look up like what happened like during and immediately following the bubonic plague,
Oh shoot, there was
or
all kinds
really
of
any
stuff.
plague in Europe?
There was all kinds of stuff, but there were the peasantry had more power after
Yes,
that. Way more.
yes, because as like they had fewer workers, they were in bad working conditions, people were dying left and right, they became more valuable. And that's actually kind of like how we got the first kind of like union merchants, actual like merchants actually started to become a thing in Europe after plagues, because people were like, okay, you want me to do this, you're going to have to pay me the certain amount and you have to find me to get these materials. So logistics and all that.
Right. Well, I mean, if all of the population of the US, all of the poor people realized how much power we actually do have when we come together.
Yep.
And if we stopped with the surface BS and just came together, then we could force the government to do what it should be doing.
Right.
Like,
I agree.
but we had to be focused on being racist and sexist and misogynistic and all the other things.
Yeah.
You know.
But here's my train of thought, right? So also when on Trump's first day of office, what happened?
What, all the executive orders?
Yeah,
I
all the
mean, of
executive
which there
orders.
were
A bunch, a whole bunch. The one that stands out to me right now in this current thought process is he pulled us out of two things:
Oh,
the
yeah.
Paris Climate Accords
Hmm.
and
And
the
the who?
World Health Organization. So, since we're no longer affiliated with the World Health Organization, and we get like another plague coming through, like COVID or worse than COVID, and we don't have those international resources for a vaccine, and if we're going to let big pharma and everything else, corporatocracy pharma, kind of decide like how expensive that is, and we're not mandating vaccines, well, there goes your workforce. Then what are you going to do? What's the government going to do then?
Humpty Dumpty and the GOP in general, they're going to have to get to the point where they just F around and find out.
It's so stupid because we've seen how these things played out in history.
Yeah, but they don't care. They just want power, control, and dominance over everyone, and that's why you see all these abuse tactics being used. Massive amounts of rug sweeping, gaslighting, straight up Darvo.
Yeah.
When you see people saying, "Oh, he was just being overly exuberant over the win, and he just really felt it from his heart. He didn't mean to do it that way."
Yeah.
You're treating him bad because he's on the spectrum. That's denial and/or deflection, attack, reverse victim and offender.
But
It's
wait,
Darvo.
and that's not the only thing they're doing. They're showing, oh, here's Barack Obama, a still image of Barack Obama with his arm out in the air like he's doing a Nazi salute. Or here's a
He was
picture
literally
of
waving at people in the video.
hand
Yeah.
up waving, and that was his hand coming down because people wave differently. And then they did the same thing with Kamala Harris.
Right, but
A still image of her. Right.
every single
She
time when
was
you
impassioned speech, and it was her hand coming down, or she was pointing, finger, close fisted pointing, and then she released it. And at the point where she released her hand is where they paused the image and took a still.
Yeah.
Like, y'all don't understand context.
You have to go back and look at the actual video that was pulled from and see what the actual truth is, because it's just, when you watch the video of Elon, that was a Sieg Heil. Not once, but twice. He wasn't just waving at people like this. There was...
It's not because he was on the spectrum.
I'm on the spectrum.
We're both on the spectrum. And everybody else who's on the spectrum has said, like, no, we know better than to do that. Like,
yeah, I mean, there are certain
we're still
things
accountable for our actions.
There are certain things you will never see me do, and that hand gesture is one of them. I don't care. It's all rug sweeping, fleas and flying monkeys just falling all over themselves to make excuses for him. And I'm sorry, not sorry. He's not a genius.
I'm not sorry.
He's a Nepo baby who had a whole bunch of money to smack on companies and act like the inventions of other people were his. He's not a genius. He's a Nepo baby.
He's just like Donald Trump in the fact that he started his first business with money that he took from his parents' emerald mine.
His dad. I've said this before. His dad gave him, or either gave him or he took them, emeralds from his daddy's emerald mine, and then he sold those emeralds and bought all these companies, and then smacks his name on everything and says, "Oh, look, I'm a genius." Bitch, what the fuck have you yourself by yourself invented? And why is it that you can't figure out how to build rockets that don't explode over populated areas?
The first business venture Musk ever had, right? He did build it up, but then he sold it to a competitor who was buying out everybody else. It was in South Africa, who was essentially creating a monopoly. I forget what business it was. He sold it for either 2.1 or $21 million, right?
Right, but even that, it wasn't just him. There were other people
Hmm.
who were like, he does not build things himself.
Right.
He does not invent things himself.
Right.
And everything that he's able to do because he has money from daddy
Right.
and mommy.
It all started with money from mommy and daddy. Yeah.
Right. So I'm sure if I had millions and millions of dollars that I just inherited, shit, I could buy up some companies and smack my name on there, and then I would be a fucking genius
Right.
too. He
If
does
I
nothing
if I
original.
if I had a small loan of $1 million, I could get a lot done.
Exactly.
To quote Donald
Exactly.
Trump, if I had a small loan of $1 million, I'd get a lot done.
Donald Trump's another one. These are a bunch of nepo babies
Yeah.
who have never had to struggle a day in their life.
Right.
They do not understand having to scrimp and save. Can I pay this bill and buy groceries or no? Like they don't understand. They not like us. They're not like us. And we're all, none of us are, not one single one of us is going to be invited to their table or to their party.
Nope.
Because we're not millionaires or billionaires. Everybody needs to go listen to George Carlin. Saint George Carlin.
Mm-hmm.
Because he told us all a long time ago,
Oh yeah.
like,
I watched that show that you're talking about. I know which one you're talking about.
so good. It's so
Hey,
good.
James.
Hey, James, how you doing? What's up?
It's okay to be
Oh,
late.
by the way, I'm sorry, James. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to tell you this. I'm sorry. You're not a man.
You're not a man.
There are no men.
Nobody. I'm not a man.
I'm so sorry.
We're all at conception a woman. Carlin was king, 100%.
Yes. I wish he was still alive. Oh my God. Can you imagine?
Oh Jesus, bro's probably rolling right now.
I wish he was still here. We need comedians like that right now.
Mm-hmm.
For reals.
Oh, did you see Rage Against the Machine's like cover of their own song? Some of those that burn torches, they're no longer the ones that burn crosses. They're now the ones that hold office.
Yes. And it's true.
It's true.
I really want to see them in concert again. I need to blow off some steam, man.
Same.
Listen,
Rage.
them,
Literally,
Highling, Tool, I don't care. Just give me a band. OTEP.
Depeche Mode.
Hey, really nice guys. Really nice guys. I mean, we didn't make the rules, man. It's Humpty Dumpty. They've decided.
As of this past Monday, that is how the government of America works.
It's what you
So
were
sad.
at conception. It's the was it the gender or the sex at conception?
It's dependent on the reproductive organs at conception. When you're a single-celled organism, not even like
first off, there are none.
Into the wall.
What?
When you're a single-celled organism, that determines your gender.
There's no logic. There's no critical thinking skills going on in those brains.
Complete denial of science.
Oh God. I mean, I'm biased, and I know this, but they do have more albums that are good too. But I'm biased. I know.
I mean, we listen to them pretty often.
Yes.
Yes. No further context.
Absolutely not. That is above your pay grade.
You're right. I have to work for that shit.
In so many ways.
In so many ways. Hey, I earned it Monday.
Hey, suddenly the live stream takes a weird turn and nobody knows what we're really talking about, and that's fine. Don't worry about it.
A weird turn that leaves you flustered.
A little bit hot and bothered. You just got a bunch of single cell organism tattoos.
I love that.
Oh my God.
Well,
man.
technically, I have a bunch of single cells that have tattoos on them. They are part of a larger organism.
I really want my tattoo finished. I'm
Well,
actually worried that I won't be able to finish my tattoo. Like they will decide,
I'll get
like,
the ink and we'll do it ourselves.
okay, fuck it.
Bet. The look on your face is not encouraging.
I mean, if one way or another, this is. I cannot believe that this is 2025, and this is the fuck shit that we are dealing with.
Woot fuck shit.
Y'all, I'm too old for this shit. Like, then again, I think that we're all too old for this shit.
An infant is too old for this shit.
Yes.
A single cell organism at conception is too old for this shit.
I was just gonna say. Now I'm wondering, like every day I wake up, I'm like, what else? Like what else? Like what?
The intelligence of an amoeba.
What other dumb shit are we doing today? Like,
I don't know. I haven't bothered to see what the president's done the last couple of days, and now I'm like hesitant to look it up.
Hundreds of illegal immigrant criminals arrested, hundreds more flown out by the U.S. Flown out of the U.S. Are they all immigrants, or are they're not really? It's not seeming like they're differentiating at all. Trump to visit LA wildfire zones after threats to withhold aid. That's going to go over like a lead fucking balloon.
After threats to withhold aid, and he wants to go there?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Brother, why are you making bad decisions? Why? All right, what did Trump do his second day in office?
Trump says he wants to overhaul FEMA. No, he said that he wants to do away with FEMA. This is why Legacy News is just... He said he's saying that he wants to... y'all, this makes my brain hurt. He wants to close down the Department of FEMA. He wants FEMA gone. That he thinks that states should be the ones to handle disaster relief. I can tell you right now, after working disaster relief for decades, that is going to be horrific. People just have no idea how bad shit will get. Part of the reason that things in the Southeast were so bad is because the state reps decided they wanted to do more of the relief efforts there, and were resisting help from Biden and FEMA over that. Like, such a bad fucking idea right there.
Let's see. The second day of Trump's in office was basically a continuation of him trying to figure out how they're going to get rid of birthright citizenship, how they're going to get employees back into office, how they're going to deport migrants crossing the country illegally without allowing them to request legal protection, according to internal government documents. Marco Rubio was confirmed on Monday. Sworn in on Tuesday. Although the bulk of the cabinet has yet to be confirmed, as Senate Democrats are delaying for inadequacies. Including among the most controversial Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth.
That dude.
Senate Finance Committee Chair Senator Mike Crapo.
Crapo?
Is that actually Crapo? Oh, it's Crapo? I said Crapo, and I don't think I'm wrong.
I think so, but you can say Crapo. It fits.
Okay. Announced Wednesday that RFK Jr.'s confirmation hearing is scheduled for the 29th. So next week.
Dude has a brain worm dead in his... People,
and it's still
on.
It's still just there decaying. He's got decaying matter inside of his brain. He literally has brain rot.
Can we just not and say we did and call it good and just not? Hold on. So, by the way, this tattoo sounds amazing. by the way.
Nice.
Do you think he'll release the JFK and the man from the island? I think JFK, yes, that's what he's indicating, but the man from the island was a friend of his for a long time, and I'm sure that there was all kinds of info that that dude had that you
But we're
know,
supposed to be getting more information on JFK, his brother, and then Martin Luther King,
and
and
then
how
also
they
aliens.
helped, and also
Also
aliens,
also
but
aliens.
primarily how those three died.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we have a huge number of citizenry that is unhoused. What is more important?
Telling people how JFK, his brother, and Martin Luther King Jr. died.
I mean, Martin Luther King Jr. I get. I don't think that they'll release everything on Martin Luther King Jr. I absolutely don't think that. I don't do conspiracy theories, but I have too many questions about that one. What? What? You okay?
Trump has announced he is nominating Andrew Puzder to serve as U.S. ambassador to the European Union. Guess what Mr. Puzder is formally in charge of?
What?
He is the former CEO and CKE of the former CEO of CKE Restaurants, which owns Carl's Jr.'s and Hardee's, among other restaurants. He's a fucking fast food CEO, and you're going to make him an ambassador, a government ambassador to the entire European Union. What's he going to do?
Oligarchy.
Talk about fucking chicken and burgers all fucking day?
Oligarchy. Kleptocracy. 1000%. Okay, hold on. Justice Department orders Civil Rights Division to temporarily pause all cases.
For civil rights. What? Mm.
Let me see if they. That's not good, y'all. That's not good. That means that if you're attacked by the police, like, no recourse.
Guess who he's nominating to lead the Secret Service? Sean Curran, who's the guy who is in charge of his Secret Service detail for 4 years and sprung to cover him on stage during the first assassination attempt on 13th and July 13th in Pennsylvania.
But in what way is he qualified to? Why am I even asking that question? Because most of the people that they're not. They don't know what is even happening.
He criticized them for failing to stop the attempt from happening in the first place, but nominates the lead of that security detail as the head of Secret Service.
That whole thing is janky. That
each time, him a new asshole, but here's a reward.
Each attempt that was made on Trump, I think, was just sympathy ploys. I literally, I know that may sound conspiracy theory-ish, but I literally think that they were just sympathy ploys because they use every other abuse tactic. Why wouldn't they do that as well? If that makes sense. Please bear in mind, I do not like conspiracy theories, but I don't believe that bullshit.
Yeah.
And James has a.
Thinking out about empty Parliament buildings and 3 blocks away, lots of homeless. Yeah. Could convert that into housing for the homeless people. Fucking amazing.
In the U.S., I don't know how it is up in Canada, but in the U.S., every major city has like empty houses and just empty buildings that were office buildings. They could be all of that could easily be renovated, fixed up, and we could have everyone who's unhoused housed.
I mean, there's fucking like one skyscraper in the middle of the CBD, and another hotel right by the tracks leading to the 9th.
Oh Lord!
And you can easily renovate both of those to accommodate all the homeless people in New Orleans, if not like a good portion of Louisiana. Just saying.
Okay, hold on. Did you hear what's happening in the 9th Ward? Let me tell y'all.
Let
me tell y'all
the
what's
fucking
happening
train
in the 9th
tracks.
Ward. Hold on. It gets worse. I've been asking around, talking with people. All right, so And also, I've had people send me some videos, but talking with certain people, okay, so the company that's building the railroad through a residential neighborhood, almost right next to houses, by the way, like it's
Literally
in their
tore up their
yards.
main street. Tore up their
Ex-
main street.
exactly. So they're building this railroad. The residents in the neighborhood didn't have any say in this matter at all. This is
Hmm.
in their neighborhood. They're going to have trains rolling through, which is going to cause damage to their houses. So they won't be able to sell those houses to move out to buy another house elsewhere, right? So get this shit. The companies from out of state, because none of the companies in the state, they understood they
Specifically
didn't
from
want to go
Ohio.
there. Right. So they're specifically from Ohio. They also hired private security. It's a good goddamn thing I'm not down there.
Yeah.
Because these private security guards for these tracks and all that shit, they have them armed. They have been
We're
threatening people
talking
down.
pistols or rifles.
I I think pistols, but I'm not sure. I'd have to ask. But um, so they've been threatening people. You know, they're coming up. They just have questions. People in New Orleans are conversationalists. That's just the city, right? And they have questions pertaining to their goddamn neighborhood, which rightly so. They have every right to have questions.
Right.
But instead of answering those questions, they're threatening the people in the neighborhood with either being arrested or harmed. And they feel completely free to do that, like it's not even a big deal. So
Yep.
this is another situation where a predominantly historically legendary black neighborhood is probably going to be destroyed for a railroad track that they could have put over by where the warehouses are. There's
Yeah.
no reason for that to be going through a residential neighborhood
Yep.
whatsoever.
And
Are
just
you
to like,
hearing about that in legacy media? I want to know.
no, no. And just to kind of people who don't understand just like how destructive having train tracks like near houses can be, like they're not even like they're not even 30 yards from the train tracks from the edge of their house. If you know anything about fuck, what's the word? Seismic, like a seismograph. Like if you're like somewhere where they're driving pile into the ground, you have a seismographer there, or somebody who has a seismograph punched in the ground near the nearest building that has like a foundation, a concrete foundation, to measure how heavy the impacts of the or how big
Right. I'll
how big the vibrations are being sent through the ground, because at a certain point the vibrations will start destroying the foundation of those homes
and
or that building.
just to be clear, some of these houses in these neighborhoods are like old they were old houses built by freed slaves, like
Yep.
freedmen
Yep.
of New Orleans. This is historic. Some of these houses are going to be, they have to be historic.
Mhm.
And you cannot have, like in the French Quarter, you can't have certain size vehicles go through there, or they have noise ordinances because the vibrations can make the all that the brick buildings vibrate apart
We've
and they'll
literally
fall.
had while you and I were living in the city, they actually had a building collapse
Yeah.
because it wasn't a trash truck.
No, that was, well, there were a couple. There was the one that was the really badly built building
Mm-hmm.
that fell, and the three workmen were just left in there, their remains.
Yeah.
That happened.
Oh,
And then
yeah,
there were,
that one.
after Katrina, I was walking by a building from one location to another. I can't remember why now. As I was walking by a building, one whole brick wall of this building fell
Yep.
on all the vehicles parked below it.
Yep.
Stepped out from underneath
Yeah.
where like I could have been crushed really. Um,
Right.
so that
I would
happened.
say like so.
So now they're building these railroad tracks right next to these old residential buildings that should
Mhm.
be historic in a
Yep.
neighborhood that's predominantly black. Without the black musicians throughout the history of New Orleans, you would have no New Orleans. Without black people, without Creole people, you have no New Orleans.
Yep.
You have the husk, but
Yep.
you don't have the soul and you don't have the heart.
Right.
That mm, mm, I have to be careful what I say because
New Orleans
Man,
is nothing without its people, especially its BIPOC community.
absolutely nothing. And that's without giving people an opportunity. No eminent domain will buy up your property. No opportunity to speak with the mayor.
City
Anything.
representatives of any kind.
No recourse.
Nope.
Guess what? If they can do that in New Orleans, they can do it near you.
Yep.
Wherever
Because
you are in America.
New Orleans is historically the bluest city in Louisiana,
That's
which is a
probably
red state.
right. That's probably why they're doing it. Baton Rouge has been fighting with New Orleans for a few years now.
For a while now, yeah. Baton
But
Rouge
it's
is its
gotten
own fucking
worse.
mess. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I believe.
I mean, withholding money to update the water system, the water purification system, because
I got tired of
they
that.
want to force New Orleans to comply with the anti-women's rights BS they've been doing.
So here's the thing. Whenever I was doing Uber and Lyft in New Orleans, right? I had a guy that I had to bring to the convention center. Guess what convention that was for? A sewage and water convention.
Right.
Guess who never made an and this was in what 2019 I think when this happened.
I think so.
How long after Katrina was that?
Oh God.
Over a decade, right?
Yeah.
Almost 2 decades, like in the in between 1 and 2 decades.
I have some time blindness going on with Katrina because I mean I was there, so
Yeah,
it's
that's right.
very traumatic. But
So almost 2 decades after Katrina, right?
mhm.
This convention for like this for sewage and water, and this is like a national convention, a national level convention. It's held in New Orleans every other year. At that time in 2019, you know how many pumps the entirety of New Orleans had functional?
Oh, it was like wasn't it like 4 or 5 out of I don't remember now.
Out of 10.
Yeah,
something like that.
it people don't understand. In New Orleans, we had boil water advisories for brain-eating amoebas like every other week.
Yeah.
At one point, it was every other week, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? So how do we wash our babies and know that they're safe?"
Right.
Maybe that's where JFK Jr. belongs.
Maybe.
Just no, I wouldn't wish that on New Orleans.
They held this sewage and water convention in New Orleans every
Mhm.
other year. Guess who didn't show up every year?
Who?
Anybody representing the sewage and water board of New Orleans.
I mean, big shock.
Nobody showed
Big
up.
shock. Big
And
shock
they were
there.
going over like all the different new like pumps, turbines, piping, like the whole kit and caboodle because it's the New Orleans Convention Center, and that whole
Right.
thing is taken up during this.
New Orleans is predominantly Black and Black Creole,
Right.
so they don't care. And this right here, what James is saying right here, okay? Listen, this right here, I've been saying this for probably over 2 decades. You could make take people who don't have a job, get them an apprenticeship, have all the construction, electrical, plumbing, roofing, all of that, and get people into work so they'd have housing and jobs. 2 birds, 1 stone.
No.
Along with, all the office stuff and everything else. But no. We have to take rights away from everyone that isn't a white, cishet, Christian, wealthy man.
But weed is legal now.
Well, we can get stoned while we're miserable and homeless because this shit is fucking ridiculous, man. This is America. The United States of America. Like,
don't let them catch you slipping up.
Shit. I mean, the last time I was in Detroit where I actually drove around was for a funeral, and I was stunned.
No, we went to Detroit once.
No, I'm saying for my grandmother's funeral. I got lost in
okay.
Detroit. Then I got lost in Flint because I couldn't recognize my own friggin' neighborhood that I grew up in because it looked like a bomb went off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was shocked, man.
Mm.
Because Detroit and Flint used to be actually pretty decent. They were nice. Not anymore.
No.
So in my lifetime,
Certain parts of Detroit aren't.
I mean, in my lifetime, Detroit and Flint, I mean, decimated.
Yeah.
Flint, that's the city I grew up in. Flint,
Yep.
Michigan. That's where I'm from.
We lived there for a couple years.
Yep.
Yep.
My old neighborhood, actually, the east side of Flint, is where I grew up. And it used to be, it was a nice little neighborhood, man.
Mm-hmm.
Good people, good, hardworking people. And then all the jobs left. All the adults lost their fucking minds. When unemployment goes up, crime goes up. They go hand in hand, along with domestic violence, all kinds of other bad things. It all goes up, right? Um, but yeah, you only know it because of Michael Moore. Michael Moore only scratched the surface of everything that went down. It was just the surface. Do I know? No, I don't think so. But I think his parents lived, I think they lived out in Burton. They were not actually in Flint. So Burton's like a suburb
Yeah,
of
just
Flint.
outside of Flint.
Um,
It takes 5 minutes to get down there.
yes, not very far away. I'm not saying that he didn't understand fully. I'm saying he didn't go as far with it as he could have, and he was being more like comedic with it. And there's nothing funny about what happened.
Right.
Like I get not wanting to depress people, but I've been saying for a long time that if it can happen to Flint, Michigan, it can happen to anywhere. Absolutely anywhere. For example, the schools I went to are all closed. Homedale Elementary School is gone. That building's gone.
Yep.
I think Flint Central High School and Whittier Junior High School are still there, but they're empty and they're just decomposing. They could be fixed up and used as housing, but they're just letting them sit there and rot. Exactly. He took off the Band-Aid, but didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
And huh?
I was gonna say around the same time that the Flint water crisis happened, people in like an hour north of Baton Rouge, still in Louisiana, like on the Louisiana-Mississippi border, were talking about how all their water running into their homes was brown.
Yeah. Water problems are happening all over the country, and they have been happening, but you hardly see anything about it in the news. And it's still happening in Flint.
Yep.
I think that's part of the problem. I'm having a problem with my hair.
Yep.
I think that's part of the reason.
Like
And Rick Snyder was let off the hook, and all his buddies who killed how many people?
Yeah.
No consequences for them.
A lot of the infrastructure, like physical infrastructure in the U.S., is so outdated. It needs to be fucking redone.
All of it. The water infrastructure, roads,
Power
electrical.
lines. Yep.
Yep. All of it. Why don't we have updated systems if we're one of the wealthiest countries in the world?
Because we're not one of the wealthiest countries in the world. We're in economic deficit.
Well, that's because we have to give billionaires and millionaires and companies and corporations all of the tax breaks.
Yep.
Everything. We could have a fully new infrastructure if we just taxed the super wealthy
adequately.
Just a fair share.
Mm-hmm.
Not even like more than.
Yeah. The top 5%, right? According to the top 5% of America, right? So for the 5% of people who make the most amount of money in the U.S. are making in tax breaks roughly 4 to 5 times more than we pay in the tax increase that we're going to see. Than the highest percentile is going to see. So while if you make more than $400,000 a year in taxes, you're looking at like an additional 20% increase, which is like not directly reflective of like that 400,000, but comparatively to what you paid in taxes, like almost $2,000 to $3,000 more in taxes that you pay if you make more than $400,000. And the top 5% are making 4 to 5 times more than that. They're making it. They're not paying it. They're making it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the top 1% gets double the tax breaks of what the top 5% get.
Yeah, that's right here. I mean, and when you consider the fact that addiction comes into play when people are heavily traumatized.
Yeah.
And more of the American population, way more of the American population is going to be more heavily traumatized with everything that's going on right now, with everything that Trump is doing and all of his buddies.
Yeah. Speaking of traumatization.
So there's going to be more addiction going on because there's not enough mental health care.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of traumatization, in Trump's second day in office, guess who he pardoned?
The January 6th people?
No, that was on the 1st.
Okay. I don't know who. Every day it's a new hellscape.
Terrence Sutton and Andrew Zabravsky.
Who are they?
2 former Metropolitan Police officers who were found and convicted guilty in the death of Karen Hilton Brown, who was run over by a police vehicle while driving their moped.
Right.
Yep.
Wow.
Caused a giant uproar in DC and sparked a bunch of civil arrests back in 2020 because the circumstances of his death were suspicious because it was not reported as like he got ran over, as it was simply labeled he crashed his moped.
Well, then was it in Mississippi? They had unidentified victims of law enforcement buried behind a police station. And people were like, my family member is missing. Turns out the police knew exactly where they were. Their identification was actually in their wallets and whatnot, in their pockets, where they were buried.
Yep.
And it was a lot of people.
Oh, that wasn't just Mississippi. That was also in Baton Rouge too.
Right. But just guess what color they were.
Are you asking them or are you asking me?
Just anyone in general, just guess what color they were.
I'm going to be super sarcastic and say that they were white.
Nope. We just did a video comparing addiction to cancer and how more people die from addiction and are demonized. And if they were given some support, they had the chance of surviving. Yes, Portugal decriminalized. Was it? No, but I know, but I'm talking about Portugal.
Okay.
I actually helped write a paper about this. Portugal decriminalized. Basically, they decriminalized addiction. Okay.
Right.
And at the same time, they gave people mental health care, housing, all of the support they needed to get their lives back together.
Mm-hmm.
Their addiction rates,
Yeah.
I mean,
they also made safe spaces for people who wanted to use these substances to actually use these substances, and then immediate medical care was provided for them.
Right. Exactly. And they have seen, I mean, it's kind of amazing how good things have gotten for people there. He pardoned? Are you
creator of
kidding
the
me?
Silk Road. Yeah. No, he did that on the 1st.
Kidding me?
He did that on the 1st.
What?
On his first day. He did that on his first day.
Oh my God, here comes the headache again. What the?
Wednesday, U.S. senior military officials said the 1,500 troop deployment would involve dispatching 100 Army personnel and 500 Marines, as well as helicopters to the California and Texas border. Officials said troop would not engage they would not engage in law enforcement.
Is posse comitatus a thing anymore? I'm just curious. No. Asking for a friend.
As federal law generally prohibits use of military for civilian law enforcement. Instead, the official said they would be tasked with helping customs and border protection and erecting border barriers to curtail illegal crossings.
It's not going to work. Here's the
No.
thing: walls that are put up to keep people out also keep people in.
Yep. Malls are a two-way thing. Oh wow, Trump administration officials are considering deploying as many as 10,000 soldiers to the U.S.-Mexico border, using DoD bases to hold migrants awaiting deportation.
Free labor. I mean, if we had the money right now, Portugal sounds really good to me in many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like compassion and care for people who are suffering is always a good thing.
Doge is already acting up.
Um,
They're influencing the DHS, as they have terminated the Department of Homeland Security has terminated its advisory committees, wiping out decades of institutional experience and abruptly ending a sweeping investigation into the Chinese-linked hack of U.S. telecom companies. Sources familiar with the move confirmed. According to
well,
the memo
I
acted by
thought
the
China was like evil, evil, bad, bad, and we should be worried about that.
right,
Did
so we're,
he,
so
like
we're not
what?
going to keep looking at 75% of the workforce for lemons and oranges did not show up out of fear of ice agents. Yeah, remember,
Mhm.
if you see a white vehicle with a green stripe, turn around so they can't see what your mouth is doing and say "La migra" very loud. "La migra."
Please. And by the way, if you know someone who is, undocumented or, no, you don't.
You do not.
Especially if that person is a child, do not make me come over there. You don't want to know how hard I can hit. You
And
don't want to know.
she knows how to punch.
Um, so at least there are judges out there who are trying to block things and stop things, and there are lawsuits coming out. They're going to be, when I tell you, there are going to be so many lawsuits coming out. But here's the problem: SCOTUS. Who knows what the Supreme Court's going to do or not do at this point?
So the Houthis are officially a foreign terrorist group again. They were removed from Foreign Terrorist Organization in 2021 by President Biden, but then in early 2024 were redesignated as a specially designated global terrorist, which is apparently like a rung below foreign terrorist group. I mean, they did fire an American ships, so.
James, at some point we may need you to come up on here and like help us do news stuff, because there's so much happening and they're doing this on purpose. And this is overwhelming people so that they won't have a decent idea of what is happening at any given moment. It's an abuse tactic. It's used to make you feel like there is no stability anymore and there's no point in fighting it. Don't let them make you feel like there's no point in fighting. Okay?
What the fuck?
What?
The Department of Homeland Security employees received a mass email Wednesday
Mhm.
urging them to report any efforts within the department to conceal diversity and inclusion personnel.
Yeah. But there was another email that now everybody's confused and doesn't know what is supposed to happen. And then also there are judges who are trying to block that too.
Yeah.
So it's
Have we
nobody
failed?
knows. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
It's mass confusion.
Yeah. To quote, failure to report this information within 10 days will result in adverse consequences.
Trump signs executive order to release more JFK, RFK, MLK documents. That's just a distraction. That's bread and circuses at this point. I mean, you're going to see a lot of distraction. To be fair, really, Musk doing the Zeek Heil is also a distraction, but it's also an indication of the reality. So it's both. But it's not something that we should ever excuse and say, "Oh, that's not a big deal." Yes, it is. If you go do that in Germany, or you see what happens, you will be arrested because that is illegal there.
So the founder of the Oath Keepers, Stuart Rhodes, was on Capitol Hill Wednesday, there to meet with House Republicans and advocate for pardons for James Brown, a fellow Oath Keeper, who is convicted of weapons charges in a separate federal case.
They're gonna f around and let all these whack jobs out,
Yeah.
and then when they actually start eating or trying to eat their faces, those whack jobs are gonna come back, and it's extinction bursts are dangerous. Diddy is a distraction. Well, he is, but
He's a disgusting piece of shit.
he is, but he's also. I can assure you, Diddy's victims really want justice.
Apparently, Trump is threatening to use his powers to adjourn Congress so he can make recess appointments to his cabinet for all of his nominees. So what he's going to do, what that basically is a threat of, you're not moving fast enough for what I want to do. Take a break. While you're on break, and because you're on break, I'm going to use my powers as the executive office to take these people who you're taking your time with not putting in office as my cabinet members and just going to approve them without your approval.
Yeah. This right here. I was going to go into journalism. That everything was lined up for me to do that. And then I saw the rise of Fox News and I was like, these mofos are lying. Every other word is a lie. Journalism is probably going to die. So I didn't go into journalism. I love investigative journalists. I love good journalism. That's why I've been listening to NPR, PBS, Democracy Now, Occupy Democracy, Midas Touch. Um, oh shoot, what's her name? Laura Trump. She's related to Trump. She's in that family. She's been listen. If you want drama, she's spilling hot tea, all of the tea of the Trump family, like the fucking like. Listen, the
Like his
reality.
nephew was?
Yeah, a bunch of his family hate
Hey.
him.
Yes.
Okay, so she's sitting there talking about how the family actually came into their wealth because Grandpappy was a pimp. So it makes sense that a certain person would have ties to another certain person with an island, if you think about it. Right. Allegedly is news nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, I say allegedly a lot on here only because people are insane at this point. Oh, wait, what storm? What's happening in the UK? Because I have all kinds of groups over there. Oh, you go ahead.
Yep.
I'm gonna grab another soda. Ow.
Ooh. Can I ask you a favor? Oh wait, you have your headphones off, so you can hear me. Gosh darn it. Storm Elwyn? Oh wow. Okay, hold on. So
Okay.
Storm Eowyn. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I'm probably not. One person has died in Ireland, and hundreds of thousands of homes are without power in the UK as Storm Eowyn brought record-breaking wind gusts. He fell when a tree fell on his car in County Donegal. Ireland's strongest gusts ever recorded, and 7,000 725,000 properties are without power. 725,000 properties without power. Amber warnings remain in place in Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Northern England, with millions of people urged to stay at home, with gusts as up 100 miles per hour were recorded.
Yeah, that's not good.
One in flight flights to the UK were cancelled, and all trains halted in Scotland on Friday. Every school in Northern Ireland was closed, and the storm damaged buildings and tore down trees. Two red warnings were for Australia and Friday northern part of Scotland, where it is the most serious weather warning the Met Office can issue. Meeting dangerous weather expected, and people are urged to take action to keep themselves and others safe.
Right. So to everyone over, because we have a lot of subscribers who are from like Scotland,
Yeah,
England.
subscribers and friends.
Right, y'all. I love you. I'm sorry you're dealing with that, but at least you're not here, man. Like I hope everyone's okay. I know a lot of the buildings over there. Some of those buildings are old, like older than New Orleans old.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever heard of them having a storm like that over there. Well, shit. Do y'all need me to come over there and help with listen, I can work disaster relief with
I
a
can
blindfold.
I can work at an auto parts store as long as y'all like put our kid in school. We'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. Maryland is apparently responding to the executive order that ends federal workers' remote work because some of their okay, so Maryland is home to 160,000 federal employees.
Wow.
And a decent number of those personnel had telework policy before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So the pandemic did not cause these people to have to like work from home. They were already working from home.
And by working from home, you're cutting down the costs of having an office and all that shit.
Mm.
It doesn't make any sense what they're doing is what I'm saying.
Because if they can't come into work, then that's less money the government can spend because they can terminate their contracts or fire the employees. And that's less government spending.
It still doesn't make any kind of sense because there's still work that has to get done. If you can do it telework instead of having an office building that you have to pay for, like just the logic is a thing.
Apparently,
it's fine, James. It's fine.
Yeah. No, you're good.
We're almost at the 2-hour mark. We're probably going to end this stream here in a little bit because I usually do like an hour, but
yeah, the Justice Department's new leadership is apparently threatening to prosecute state and local officials who resist Trump's emphasis on immigration agenda.
But wait a minute, I thought states' rights.
States' rights. Musk claims you don't actually have the money about OpenAI initiative. Huh? Yeah, because Tuesday, second day in office, Trump announced an investment of up to. This is so fucking stupid, and probably the largest number I've seen the government say that is not going directly to the military. Announced that an investment of up to $500 billion with a B dollars to build a private sector investment to build artificial intelligence infrastructure.
You know that's a Trump thing, right?
Through a joint venture
a Musk thing.
Yeah, through a joint venture called Stargate, comprised of OpenAI, SoftBank, and Oracle. Guess who owns Stargate?
I already know.
Musk.
This is ridiculous, dude. Trump recommends ending FEMA.
Yep.
Let me tell you something right here, right now. FEMA has problems. It could be fixed easily if you had people working at the top who actually knew what the hell was going on and what needed to actually for real be done. If you had people who were boots on the ground working in disaster situations at the top, it would be a lot better. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But having FEMA is better than having nothing.
Yeah.
When you put it back to states taking care of everything, those states, red states are not going to be able to Bitch, please. This is the
Mucha
dumbest
por favor.
thing. The dumbest thing that they can do is what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Trump has pulled Fauci's security detail.
I'm not surprised. He still has a presidential pardon, though, a blanket pardon.
For now, but that,
You can't
um,
override a pardon.
I know, but someone from his base who decides to just unalive him
That's true.
and he doesn't have a security detail. I mean,
That's true.
hey, cuddly floof. I'm sending you hugs.
Heyo.
I'm sending you hugs. I wish I was there now. Dude, I would be out there with my backpack and my BDUs. Like, okay, who needs help? What's going on?
Can somebody across the pond do me a favor? Grab a cheap smartphone, put TikTok on it, create like a backup account for me, and ship it. And do that for
Oh,
words too.
that's not a bad idea.
That way, in what, 75 days was Monday, we're 4 days out. So in 71 days, when the app goes away, y'all can still see us on the app.
Listen, if we had the money, if we had the resources, we would probably be in Scotland right now because Scotland, oh my God, the castles and the history and my brain just blanked. Like ancient sites. I'm talking ancient. Listen, just give me a bag of tools and I'll go dig in the dirt and it's fine. I'll find some more history for you.
Yeah, we find out Saturday evening / Sunday morning that VPNs do not work.
Yes, no, they don't work.
If you already have the app, and so the way it works is the account has to be based in a different country, because if all the American servers go down, then we cannot access the American server, which means if we have an account on an American server, we cannot access it. However, if you're in a different country, you create an account in that country while still linked up to that country's servers. Even if your phone travels across the ocean to a different country, your account is still based in that country of origin. So you will still have an account and you still be able to activate and use said account. People are selling their phones for like thousands of dollars, by the way.
Yeah. Mosquitoes. Listen, I lived in New Orleans, okay? If you've ever been out to the bayou, it's nothing but mosquitoes,
Mosquitoes.
alligators.
That big.
Yeah, alligators and
Moccasins.
things that possibly don't have names and lugaroo. I'm just saying.
Arugaru.
We could come over and start like a New Orleans restaurant.
We could do. I do know how to make some very good gumbo sha.
Red beans and rice, gumbo.
Y'all like beans? Just put it on toast.
Just saying. It's good. Now you got me. Guess who's going to the grocery store in a little bit to grab some things?
Not me. Anyway, Trump threatens to put more sanctions on Russia if it doesn't agree to deal to end the Ukraine war. To quote, in a social media post, Mr. Trump threatened to enact high level of taxes on another country, tariffs,
What?
and
Wait,
even more sanctions.
Hold on.
On the most sanctioned country in the world.
How exactly can the U.S. tax another country? Not tariffs, tax.
You can't.
The fuck is even happening? Yeah, I mean, mosquitoes up here in the north are different from the ones down south in the bayou. It's like they're evil incarnate down there. Like,
look, yeah, seeing a mosquito pick you up and fly you away to their pond.
And there are bugs.
In New Orleans.
I swear to God, there are bugs in Louisiana that look like aliens. I'm like, what in the actual F is that? And what planet did it come from? How can we get it to go back? Like, it's like aliens or something from the movie. I'm like, I expected a chest burster. at some point. Okay? No, ma'am. What does hold on, I can't see. And I can't put my glasses on because these headphones.
Trump is not smart.
No
Quote,
one has ever accused him of being smart.
right.
Like
No.
ever.
To quote the man, I'm not looking to hurt Russia. I love the people of Russia. I love the Russian people. I always had a very good relationship with President Putin. And despite the radical left's Russia hoax, he's apparently also, to quote, going to do Russia, whose economy is failing. And President Putin, a very big favor, settle now and stop this ridiculous war. It's only going to get worse. Let's get this war, which never would have happened if I were president, over with. We can do it the easy way or the hard way. And the easy way is always better. It's time to make a deal.
Okay, I love you.
Sorry.
That voice is like nails on a chalkboard to me, even in impersonation.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. It is a good impersonation, but no, we're
Thank
not
you.
gonna play anything
heard
I'm
better.
speaking on here. We're not.
I know people who can do a better impersonation than I can, like top S tier impersonators.
Most of the world's sunflower oil comes from Russia. Well, I mean, if we deport every undocumented immigrant, this country has had undocumented immigrants coming here to work in agriculture since this country started.
Yep.
Always. So nothing good will come from that. You too.
Bye.
Thank you for being here. Please hit that like. All y'all hit that like, please. I appreciate it. Yes, please.
Oh, wait, hold on.
What?
Warning to all headphone users. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, so I'm surrounded by an
Mm-hmm.
Can we please move over there? I'm so
Henry
jealous.
VIII, though. Ugh, what a horrible guy.
I'm so jealous. I would be heavily tempted to want to somehow rebuild that abbey, though, and live in it. And just be the keeper of the abbey.
The abbess.
Yes, exactly. It's all a coinky dink. Listen, if you're out there and you're listening and you're scared and terrified and feeling all kinds of anxiety and panic.
These two knuckles. Use these two knuckles.
No, just, understandable. I go through that too. Okay? But we have judges, we have all kinds of people who are fighting this. And I have a feeling once spring and summer roll around and the weather gets better, people are going to be out in droves.
Yeah.
Because by then they're going to see full examples of what he's trying to do. And I have a feeling that a large part of his base is going to jump ship because they're going to see how bad they're going to be hit.
Yeah. It's an interesting pattern.
Hmm.
That it's not even just a Western thing. So even though Europe is kind of considered Western, the people who complain about immigration, people coming in, taking our jobs, it's never people on the left.
Right. It's
always the people on the right.
Take all those people who are complaining about them and give them jobs out in the fields since they think it's so easy.
Yep.
Go ahead. Go work.
It's always people on the right, and it's always corporations, people who are backed by corporations who are saying it.
Is there someone at the door?
No, that's my chair creaking as I move in it.
Oh, okay. I keep forgetting you're right above me in the bedroom. No one will work picking fruit. And so they subsidize migrant workers, their wages, and fly them to and from Canada because that's the smart way to go about doing it. Because that benefits your whole country. Their work benefits your whole country.
Yep.
And that's something that these idiots don't get. Listen, if you're scared, it's understandable. Please remember your self-care. Um, whatever you can do. I know people are working a lot, working their asses off, and it's hard right now, but the 4 R's, remember the 4 R's: retreat, rest, regroup, rebound. When you can.
Yep.
Things are just nuts. Mostly Jamaican is
Jamaican food is good.
wow.
Oxtail.
Huh?
Jamaican food is good.
This is
Oxtail.
true. Mostly Jamaican is our area is awesome. I have had several at my place for a nice barbecue. Right on. Right on. The racism and all of that in this country is going to kill this country. And it's the poor people who are going to suffer, because all the wealthiest people will get on their planes and their private jets and boats and all that shit, and they'll leave elsewhere. They think they'll be safe that way, but they don't realize they won't be.
Right.
Because wherever they go, the people around there, I'm just saying, it's a global community now. So, all right, y'all. It's been just over 2 hours. That's a long live stream for me.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to go do some self-care talking about all of this. And if you're feeling any kind of way, come in here and talk it out. Talking out through your fear in times like this is a way to allow yourself to vent and, just work out what you're thinking, what you're feeling, all of that. That's part of the reason that therapy is so important, because you talk about your trauma.
Yep.
So,
as a reminder, if you live in Mississippi after July 1st, no touching your wing wang.
And you live in a 200-year-old house?
Did not even pay attention to the thing that I said.
I'm sorry. I
Historical houses are more interesting than people touching their bits. I know.
What?
I said if you live in Mississippi after July 1st, no more touching your wing wang.
Yeah, sorry guys. Sorry guys. It's only listen, if we're going to restrict women's rights and teenage girls and little girls' rights, then I think, vasectomy is at 16 for dudes. I mean, until you can prove that you're responsible enough.
Yep.
If we're going to restrict, you can't just, pick and choose who you're going to be restrictive of, right? It should be fair and equal across the board, right?
Yep.
Okay. And being as men are historically way more violent than women, I guess curfews for men. It gets dark, you go home, dude. Stay home, stay in one room.
Mm-hmm.
Leave all the women folk alone. Stay in that one room.
Going to be a sundown town for a different reason.
And then, when the sun comes up, you can leave the house again. Okay? Yep. But I'm just saying. Man, crime would drop.
I would honestly prefer that to be like the terminology for a sundown town. Sun goes down, men are inside, cannot leave. I'd prefer that being what a sundown town actually is compared to what it currently is.
Just to make it clear, we're joking. There should not be heavy restrictions on someone based on their gender.
To be clear,
or sex.
She's joking. I'm serious about it, but it only when applied towards men.
Okay.
And you can be mad at me because I'm a man or a male presenting person who's for it.
Oh boy, man. Things are going to be really interesting, dude.
Wait, that's a contradiction. How can you be a boy and a man at the same time?
At this point, anything's possible, dude. Aliens.
Aliens.
I don't know. Aliens. There you go. I I'm not joking. If we could, I would be like, let's grab my oldest daughter, my grandbaby, whoever else we can, and let's just go over elsewhere. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
You know, I don't know. It's really unusual to hear teens curse in my village. Really? Wow.
That happens all
Wait,
the time in America.
you live in a village? Oh
The village. The village people.
I just what was that? Oh, there's the mound village where they have the houses and
The
stuff.
Hobbits in the Shire?
It's in Scotland. It's a real place.
The Hobbits in the Shire.
Yeah, and it's a real place.
Yes.
So, I'm just saying that oh God. I so badly want to go over there. So much history. Okay. All right, y'all. Tomorrow, apparently, they're going to interrupt the electric for
10:30 from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's like an hour and a half.
It's going to be cold up in here. Why they're doing this in the?
Will I be at work at that time or no? I don't know.
Why they're doing this in the middle of winter just doesn't really make sense to me.
Who knows?
So, if the phone is charged up, I might try to live stream, but baby girl and I are going to be under a blanket or 10.
Knowing you, probably 20.
Yes. Like this right here and all the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
You're close to where Pan Am 103 came down. Wow. So I'm not sure if I'll be live streaming tomorrow or not. I will try to. Just remember the 4 hours if you're feeling scared or, any of the bad things.
Mm-hmm.
And also just keep in mind, it's understandable. How you feel is valid.
So, real quick, speaking of Cyberpunk 2077, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you met the character Pan Am?
I think I did. I don't remember. It's been a minute since I played that game.
She was the one
Hmm?
that she was the one that you kind of like pseudo met at the bar, and then Rogue had you go and do a job with her that took you out into the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pan Am. You and Pan Am have one thing in common. Well, a couple things in common, but predominantly one thing in common.
What's that?
You both got nice butts. All right, I'm going now. Bye, everyone.
All right. I love y'all. Remember, you have the right to say no as of now. And as an American to the world, please have mercy on us. And not all of us voted for him. I love y'all. Have a good day.